Okay, thank you very much to Madeline and Christian on that. And now we're going to move straight into our Lion's Den. And just a couple of reminders here that the participating companies did pre-record their pitches. And after that, the judges will be live. They will have 5 minutes to discuss each pitch with those representatives. The judges are Rob Borden from Uplift, Jeremy Dybel from Amadeus, and Tom Makar from Business Class. Jeremy will be the head judge, and judges, I will remind you when you have about 1 minute left. So with that, we're going to go to the first company that's going to pitch, and that is Rebound Travel. Over to you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Toby Vessels and I'm founder at Rebound here in Silicon Valley. Earlier this year, we came together with a group of former airline executives and myself to see if there is a better way to address the current challenges under COVID-19. And of course, one of the biggest challenges are canceled flights this year. It's obviously very difficult to stop the root cause for canceled flights, but I'd like to share how at Rebound we're helping you to deal with the consequences of canceled flights in a slightly different and more collaborative way. There are 3 value propositions we offer our airline partners. We help you to retain cash from customer refunds. We reduce the chargeback risk by your customers. And last but not least, we strengthen the loyalty, especially those customers that are most profitable to your business. So let me show you in a brief video how it works and how we achieve these value propositions.
Canceled flights create major problems for everyone involved. Your customers are frustrated, and you have to reimburse everyone in cash for missed flights. The U.S. Department of Transportation and the European Commission stipulate that airlines have to pay their customers back in cash for canceled flights. U.S. airlines alone have had to pay back more than $20 billion to their customers during this pandemic. And even without coronavirus, cash refunds related to a variety of other interruptions are an ongoing challenge for airlines. For the already cash-strapped airlines, cash is not only king, but essential for survival. But what if there was a way to keep your cash and keep your customers happy? Rebound your money with Rebound Technologies. With Rebound, you give your customers a choice to pick non-cash alternatives over their entitled cash refund. Here's how it works. You easily link your refund dataset to our platform and let us know how much of your scheduled cash refunds you wish to retain. You then create general offer types like vouchers, miles, or upgrade certificates. Rebound determines the optimal offer for each customer based on your target cash retention rate and your selected offer types. Our proprietary data and algorithms ensure that you retain your targeted cash amount while keeping your opportunity cost as low as possible. Through our ClearView platform, you can review the offer proposal on a customer level and, if you like, make changes to any offer. Once you approve the offer plan, all of your customers receive an invitation to look at their personalized proposals. Travelers can freely choose to receive their cash refund or pick one of the attractive non-cash alternatives. You keep your cash and ensure that your customers return to you for future travel. That's Rebound.
Right. Like to answer any questions now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. And we're going to turn now to our judges. Rob Borden, apologies, is the head judge with Rob, Teme, and Jeremy. So over to you.
All right, I just let me make sure if there's anything I need to do here, audio, visual wise.
No, you're good, Rob. You just ask whenever Wendy says to start. So this is Christian.
Oh, okay.
So Wendy, you give Rob the go ahead and start counting, Wendy, whenever you're ready.
All right.
Okay.
Well, no,
Go for it. 5 minutes.
just very quickly then, one of the things that is just, top of mind to all of our travel partners is obviously hanging on to cash. One of the tricks that we've worked through at Uplift is just how do we work with the partners, because now it's time. And so I'm just curious, does this require integration? What is the level of integration? And exactly how much effort does it require from the partner? Because let's be honest, there aren't as many folks there to do the work that there once were.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great question. That's exactly the problem. While many other solutions have failed, if you look at the GDSs, and so our partners that come to us, they like that the integration is really at a very minimum level. Down the road, it can go all the way down to a full API integration through a PSS. But at the beginning, if you just want to get started and retain 20, 25, 30% of your expected cash outflows, the simplest way to get started with this is just sharing a basic customer list with refunds, some basic factors that we ask for, make that available to us, and we do all the heavy lifting and work. And the best part of this, you actually keep the cash.
Well, no, that's obviously what we want to do for all of our travel partners. Do I now turn it over to Jeremy, to Tan Mei?
Sure.
Yes.
To Tan Mei.
Hi, Tobias. Great model. I am curious to know what is your secret sauce, and this has been done in one way or the other for decades. It looks like you are building a platform where you're aggregating a lot of non-cash offers. And when it comes to the customers, though, what are you doing in terms of personalization? How, if I were to, my flight got canceled, to either get a refund or get some other product, something else, how is it going to be different for me compared to Rob if he were to do the same thing?
Yeah, no, great question. So to answer your first question, so yesterday we talked with McKinsey, and McKinsey actually did a big project for a large airline a while ago to do exactly what we do, and it worked. But it was a very, very expensive project for that big airline. And what we're helping is to do, hey, there's not just one airline in the world, there are hundreds of those. And so we allow them to actually do the same thing, probably a little bit better in terms of performance than what this one partner did. And so it's really this networking effect. And I'll give you a couple of examples how we actually optimize at the customer level. And so you see these general offers, and of course airlines have picked up on this, and they've started to say, oh, if I offer a little sweetener, I get people to abandon their refund, their right for the refund. And so for Lufthansa or Swiss, if you look at them, they offer a 50 euro incentive if you leave the refund there. Well, guess what? That is not very effective, not effective at all, because everyone gets the same offer. And so whether you're a Global Services member or a HON member or someone else, everyone gets the same offer. And so the pickup is actually very, very low. And so what we do is we actually look at the real individual who's in front of us and say, well, who is this person? And so the offers might be different. So it could be, of course, it could be a travel voucher. But then the question is, how much of this travel voucher is needed? To give you one example, we speak with the CFOs of an airline and ask them, how much cash do you want to retain? So Lufthansa, for instance, had $2.5 billion in cash refund outstanding. How much of this money do you want to keep inside? So that the answer might be 30%. And so we're looking at this target, what we call target cash retention rate. And we say, okay, in order to reach a 30%,
Let me have 20 seconds.
We'll take that in. So the point is we optimize at the customer level, and one example might be that we say, hey, this person doesn't want an offer. We offer that person status miles so that you, Tanmay, then reach that next level, which is much cheaper for the airline than giving you a flight voucher. So.
Excellent timing. Thank you on that, Toby. Gentlemen, we are going to have to move into the next one. That was 5 minutes on the dot. And going into our next, thank you again, Toby and the judges. And going into our next pitch is Secured Touch.
Hi, my name is Louis Duker, and I work with payment and fraud teams to prevent chargebacks and to provide a frictionless customer journey with behavioral biometrics. So for those of you who are not familiar with behavioral biometrics is the physical analysis of how users interact with their devices, so for both mobile and desktop. And Secure Touch uses behavioral biometrics to stop payment fraud, such as chargebacks and other forms of fraud, such as account takeover and bot attacks before the transaction or damage occurs. And the behavioral insights we provide is also used for data enrichment in existing fraud engines, which is used to reduce manual reviews and 3DS checks for good users. So for today, I'm going to briefly demonstrate a fraudster's flow using a stolen credit card on OTA's website and how Secure Touch uses behavioral biometrics to detect credit card fraud early in the session. So let's imagine that I'm the fraudster. So today I'm the fraudster. And once I come to the site, I'm going to now browse for some hotel and some flight deals. I might even select a last minute reservation. I'll fill in my user details and I'll proceed to checkout. And now I can put in my stolen cardholder's name and I'll get a confirmation. And now I can use this confirmation for myself, or I could sell it to anyone online. So the question becomes, how can you determine if this was a good user or a fraudster? So fraudsters are exploiting the time-sensitive nature of the travel business model and can easily bypass rule-based solutions. However, behavioral biometrics actually provides real data to actually provide context to make accurate decisions before the transaction occurs. And for the fraudsters, no matter what they're doing during their user journey, they're actually exposing themselves as a fraudster every step of the way. So fraudsters are very mission-oriented and operate on the website entirely differently than good users. And Secure Touch recognizes these behavioral differences in good users early in the session before the transaction or chargeback occurs. So what you're seeing right now is a real screenshot from our dashboard showing the key indicators of how we determine if this specific session was a good user or not. So for this session, we can see the country of origin came from Brazil, but we deemed it as high risk because we detected a combination of user, device, and behavioral anomalies that we've seen as fraudulent. So as I mentioned, fraudsters are very mission-oriented, and they kind of play a game of cat and mouse to change their device types, change their countries, basically to spoof in-house or device fingerprinting solutions. But if we take a little bit closer look under the hood and look at the network this person was using, this person came from a data center, which only fraudsters use in order to spoof their geographies. And if we look at the device itself, we can see there was a time zone mismatch between the network and the device. So there was a mismatch between a browser and the device itself. We're not really reliant on, let's say, looking at the device and the network. We go a step further and look at any behavioral anomalies. So here in the behavioral indicators, we can see the number of copy and paste attempts, including the amount of time someone actually copy and pasted their credit card details. So a good user would typically type their own name, type their own user information, type their own credit card details, and not copy and paste it like we see with this fraudster. And we could say a typing latency of 22 milliseconds, which is extremely uncommon for any good user. And we can see a repetitive mouse behavior because we could see that this user had an extremely high familiarity with a page because they've done this a bunch of times in the past. And I'm sure they're going to do this a bunch more times. And here in the session timeline, we can see the entire user journey, including the key indicators and the smoking gun that actually helped us determine if this was a fraudster or not. So if we look here at the copy and paste, this is where the actual person copy and pasted the credit card details. But here we can see the device anomalies and the typing latency came well before that. So we were able to determine this was a fraudster well before the booking, well before any sort of damage could be done. So by combining behavioral data with device, network, and usage indicators, Secure Touch is able to detect fraud at a very early stage of the customer journey and basically stay a step ahead of any unknown threats. So in conclusion, the best way to prevent chargebacks is to have early detection capabilities to identify fraudsters before the transaction occurs, and that's exactly the solution SecureTouch provides. And we want to help reduce unnecessary steps or barriers for good users to make a purchase. Essentially, we want your focus to only be on fraudsters and not good users. And the behavioral biometrics data dramatically helps main review teams with better data to make better decisions. And ultimately, SecureTouch provides a platform for payment and fraud teams to be proactive and not reactive in their decision-making skills. So look, everyone, this is a very challenging time for everyone in the payment and travel industry, but a perfect time for innovation and realigning strategies. Thank you very much, and I hope to speak with you all later. Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Lois. If you want to come on now. And gentlemen, I'm going to turn over to you for questions to Louis. Tianmei, we will start with you. And reminder, 5 minutes only.
Louis, thank you. This looks like a great solution. Can you tell us how you are able to collect all the biometrics information that you need to run all the algorithms?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tianmei. I'm glad you asked that. So it kind of cut out at the beginning, but what behavioral biometrics is, it's the physical analysis of how users interact with their device. So for both mobile and desktop. So when we're talking about the type of data that we collect, so we collect all the physical interactions between the user and their device. We don't actually collect any personal information whatsoever. Only thing we collect is an encrypted user ID, and then we tell our customers if this person is a fraudster or if they're a good user. And if they're a good user, we let them continue. But if it's a fraudster, then the customer can challenge them any which way they see fit.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Jeremy?
Jeremy, are you next?
Who's next?
Yeah, Jeremy's next. Hey, we can't hear you if you're there, Jeremy.
Come on, I only have 5 minutes.
There we go. Excellent. I'd been muted by one of the organizers, so glad to be back. I'm loving the sound of this technology. There are other providers out there. How would you differentiate yourselves from some of the competition?
Yeah, I'm really happy that you asked that too, because you're right. There are multiple behavioral biometrics companies out there, but I think what distinguishes us between literally everyone else that does anything similar to us is that when we came to market, we made the actual strategic decision to focus first on mobile. Mobile behavioral biometrics is way, way, way more complicated than desktop behavioral biometrics. But I'm happy to tell you that we also do desktop as well. So we came into the market mobile focused. So we're about 2 or 3 years ahead of everyone else who does behavioral biometrics as far as mobile is concerned. And not only that, our focus is purely on the e-commerce side of things. We do work with PSPs, but we don't necessarily work with banks or financial institutions. We work specifically directly with merchants.
And how many customers do you have? So I just squeeze a second question in there if I can get away with it.
We have customers in multiple verticals, but in travel, I think that's probably one of our strongest. We have merchants both in the ride sharing, online travel agencies. We're even starting to work with airlines right now. So the numbers is growing quite dramatically, but really I would say that e-commerce is our strongest. I don't want to give out too many numbers right now, but we're well below 30 new merchants, but the merchants that we do have are quite large.
Thank you.
Okay, Rob, final question to you.
Well, yes, I wanted to understand a little bit more about your business model, and frankly, what does it cost the partner to work with you, and are there any numbers you can share? I appreciate you need to be a bit generic, but I was just curious about how you build the case to your partners with respect to whatever it costs to use your service.
Yeah, that's a totally fair question, and obviously we get asked that all the time. And it's a difficult question because we can't really give an exact number. But what we do is when we actually start to actually work with the customer, first they like to test our service. They want to make sure that our technology does what we say it does. So we enter something called a proof of concept, POC. And before this POC, we actually understand what the fraud rates are, the fraud numbers, and then we come up with a quote that will reflect a positive return on the investment. So regarding how we charge, we're not charging per API call or per transaction. It's a fixed rate that is predetermined before we even start testing. And that's supposed to reflect a positive return on your investment. It's not just something nice to have, it's supposed to pay for itself.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Louis, you have about 20
problem.
seconds if you want to show any final thoughts.
Final thoughts are having early detection capabilities is definitely important, especially with travel. Everything is very last minute. So if you have any sort of capabilities to determine if you're a fraudster or not before the transaction occurs, you're going to be way better off. I would love to talk to everyone here on the call more about what our solution and understand a little bit more what you guys are doing. So get in touch. I love to talk.
Okay. Excellent, everybody. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, and we're on to our final pitch, and I'm going to pass it over to Allison from Pennies.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about pennies and how the aviation industry could be a leader in a movement that meets the demands of a new ethically driven customer. A movement that is worth over £1 billion to help change society at a time when charities and communities are in desperate need of help. And that's in the UK alone. Imagine the potential on a global scale. Today, the Lions can help make this a reality by backing Pennies, an award-winning fintech charity initiative which began as an idea a decade ago, but already we've unlocked £26 million from over 100 million consumer microdonations in the UK and Republic of Ireland alone. Put simply, Pennies has taken the most popular way of giving, dropping coins in a charity box, and digitised it to reflect the way people pay for their goods and services across all digital channels. Now, Pennies isn't naive to the significant challenges facing the aviation industry right now, but we do want to help you respond to a new kind of customer, one who cares about companies with a genuine social purpose. So when they are able to travel, they feel good about travelling and supporting the society and the environment. Now, we know people are generous and want to give back, but right now more than ever, they want it to be easy and affordable. According to an independent survey in June this year, 40% of consumers said they were likely to make small digital donations to charity when shopping online. And the charity sector desperately needs those micro donations. As a result of coronavirus, tragically, UK charities were expected to lose £4 billion in projected income from March to May this year alone. At the same time, demands for their services has gone up by 43%. So how does Pennies and microdonations help? Well, physical cash has been declining in use for some time, and clearly coronavirus has expedited that, and we're increasingly a cashless society. As our daily lives are changing, we want to make sure everyone has the chance to donate. And this is where you, the aviation industry, come in. By enabling microdonations when customers are booking a flight or purchasing other online services, there's a huge potential to raise significant income for charities of your choosing. Pennies partner, Virgin Holidays, added Pennies microdonation option to their e-commerce site, giving customers the chance to donate to its nominated charity Dreams Come True when booking a holiday online. And do you know, just 60 donations from holidaymakers actually raised enough money to help Dreams Come True provide a special day out for a child with a life-limiting illness. Customers were giving as little as 50p, but together they can make a huge difference. And Pennies makes it easy for you. We're a charity too. We do this for the charity sector. We promote the use of technology as a force for good. We have technology to make it easy for you to join in your systems. We have best practice guides to help you every step of the way, from engaging colleagues to sharing the great social impact with your customer. And of course, we're now proven across retail and hospitality. And we have done the maths. It matters. If each UK adult alone gave just 35p a week, less than the cost of a Fredo chocolate bar, then together we could raise that £1 billion a year. Now, we know that according to the International Air Transport Association, international passenger demand was down 90% in July 2020 because of coronavirus. But as travel begins again, and it will, Pennies would love to support the aviation industry as it finds its wings, and we together can make an incredible impact in a way that we maybe never thought was ever possible. Thank you for your time.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Alison. So Alison, if you can come on screen. No, there you are. And gentlemen, I will pass it over to you. Jeremy, the first question is to you.
I think I've got two questions. First question is, because I was just trying to get the concept here, is it allowing people to round up to the nearest whole unit, or like to the nearest pound or to the nearest euro? Because I've seen the concept in supermarkets, and I'm kind of pretty familiar and love that type of operation. So that was just, could you clarify that? I'll ask the second one as well. What is the biggest issue you think you'll have in scaling out across the UK and then also into the rest of the world as well?
Alison, I think you're muted.
Am I off mute?
There you go.
Excellent.
Yes.
Sorry for that. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Yes, if you've been in the UK, it might have been us behind the scenes in a supermarket. Absolutely. The concept is the same way a customer can drop coins in a box, whether they're face-to-face or online, they will be given the option to just have one click and either round up or top up a few cents or pennies. So that's exactly the concept. But importantly, from the customer, it's only one click, and it's the charity that that merchant wants to get behind. In answer to your second question, we've actually been really humbled by the fact that during these horrendous coronavirus times, the consumer demand has just gone bonkers, because everywhere where they've been able to give, they want to do those little things. And that meant there's a lot of merchants that's come together. The challenges we have is we're a charity. We have no ability to spend a huge amount of money on marketing, so we need to spread our news. And that's why, for me, being part of this today is really important, and I hope we can spread our news. Because the key things for scaling is, one, spreading our news, and then two, making the technology really easy. We've done that now in the UK, and as we go international, the key challenge will be to respond to the different charity regulations across the world, but we know we can.
Thank you.
Okay, Rob, on to you.
Okay, thanks. So, I'll come back to the same question I asked earlier. Could you explain just a little bit more about how the integration works with the various partners?
Be delighted to. So Pennies has worked really hard over the last decade to work with a lot of global players, people like WorldPay, Verifone, kind of Ingenico, to name just three. And we've done two things. We've already developed the technology, which means from a merchant's point of view, they're the ones choosing which charity, how much money to round up to, how long the question will be there, so they can tailor it to their customer experience. But we've built the technology into a large number, in fact, nearly about 60 different payment providers and point of sale providers, so that it's really easy. We've also got a breadth of APIs, plug-in cartridges, so that whichever platform you have, we know we can do it with a really light touch tech change. In fact, there was a retailer in the UK who, right in the heart of coronavirus in April this year, went from a conversation with me on a Monday morning to deploying across in-store and online in 2 weeks, and started raising money for the NHS in the UK in a way that's been phenomenal. So we make the tech easy, and we're here to help.
Oh, I love hearing that. All right. That's my question. I'll send it over to Demi.
Alison, really a great mission. Thank you for sharing. What has been your experience in terms of increase in charity giving during this pandemic, year over year, compared to last year?
Fantastic questions. Let me give you a few kind of anecdotal statistics, if I may. When coronavirus first hit in the UK, we are live in about 65, 70 different merchants across a whole breadth of industries. And you saw Virgin Holidays, for example, in the airline industry. In effect, either physically or digitally, about 85% of our doors shut down during lockdown. They're now starting to open up. But if I was to tell you we're already at 99% like for like with last year, that shows the generosity of the UK public, because they had far less areas to donate, but when they could, they absolutely did. And I think it's because people realise it just takes a penny or a cent, as you can see from my little badge. It's about little affordable amounts, and it's about actually coming together as a community in a way. The one thing that's, I think, positive, if anything's positive in this dreadful situation, is people are coming together as a community to be a force for good, and pennies just gives them that option. And the aviation industry, getting behind pennies, can pick the charities your customer and you care about, because we're a charity, but we're independent of cause, making the tech easy, affordable and simple.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful, everybody, and perfect on the timing. Allison, thank you very much. And
Thank you for
judges,
your
we're
time.
going to have you go off and vote for best product. Audience members, you will be able to vote for the most entertaining pitch. That's going to come in the form of a poll. However, I'm going to pass it off to Chris right now because there's going to be an interview between Uplift and Allegiant led by Chris.
So hello, everyone. Hi, Chris. Scott, can you turn on your camera? So I'm joined by Chris Stacy from Uplift and Scott D'Angelo from Allegiant. So welcome, guys. And let's just jump right in. So can you give us, and I'll start with Scott since you're our esteemed guest here. Can you give us a little background? I understand you used to work in WorldPay before you worked in the airline.
Absolutely. So spent 7 years at what was Van turned WorldPay, held various roles leading pricing, data and product development. And about 3 years ago, came here to Allegiant to lead marketing and all of our digital commerce functions. So payments has a near and dear place in my heart, not simply as an operational function, but certainly as a strategic one as well. And not just during regular times, also during times like we find ourselves in right now.
So since you have a payments background and we're here with Uplift, how have you used Uplift during COVID?
Yeah, so Allegiant's a special type of airline. We basically exist to provide affordable, accessible travel to many markets that would otherwise be considered flyover markets and or smaller markets that are underserved and unserved. So two fundamental ways that we differ. That's one of them. The other is we don't just sell air, we sell hotel and rental car and increasingly attractions. So the two ways Uplift was used that were just fit like a glove with our strategic purpose. Number one, you think affordable, accessible. What could be more affordable and accessible than to be able to buy that vacation now, travel now, and pay monthly over time? And number two, because we're not just selling you a seat on an airplane, we're also looking to sell you a hotel, to sell you that rental car. It has inspired huge increases, some 400% greater lift of people that are attaching a hotel stay to their airline purchase at Allegiant.com, 100% rental car, and even huge lift in terms of people selecting their seat preference and or priority boarding. So in both of those ways, Uplift was the perfect solution for us.
Excellent. So, and Chris, I understand that that you came from Allegiant originally. So can you share what your background is? I guess that's why we're here with Allegiant now.
Yeah, so it was a very fortuitous discussion when Scott and I first met. With him coming from a payment background, he was very well versed on what payments could mean and really understanding the strategic part of payments and not just as a cost of doing business. So when we first met, we started talking about Uplift, and he was very quick to say, "Wow, this is great. This is something that we want to take a look at and see how we can implement it." But it was kind of funny because he said he didn't know that I had been at Allegiant, and he said, "Hey, let me explain to you, kind of the business model of Allegiant." And so I said, "Wait a second, wait." And so I, told him I had been at Allegiant previously. I was there 8 years, and so one of the things that I think most benefited the Uplift Allegiant relationship is because I was at Allegiant, I knew very well that their customer base was very well suited for this product. They have an absolute great marketplace that they serve, and a very unique niche offering. But clearly that has led to the success that they've seen.
So, and what are you doing? Because Scott mentioned COVID and talked a little bit. What is Allegiant doing, either, or what is Uplift doing, either with Allegiant or in general during COVID, Chris? And then I'll ask you, Scott, how Allegiant's reacting to COVID. But first, you, Chris.
Yeah, so one of the things that's unique about Uplift is we don't look at ourselves as just a form of payment. We really look at ourselves as more of a strategic alliance. We've responded very quickly to the needs of the market in this space. We've implemented new platforms in terms of 0% down offerings, 0% interest. We've changed our cancellation and credit policy, to make sure that we're mitigating any losses. In addition, we've actually done a deeper dive with Allegiant, and where we're actually analyzing data together and trying to figure out what are the best offers that we can give customers at the best time. I think one of the things that's been unique with regard to COVID is we've had a lot of merchants that previously we had been talking to, but they hadn't moved forward, that realized very quickly we're going to need every tool in the toolbox in order to market to customers as the leisure customer comes back into the marketplace. And credit to Allegiant, they've always viewed this product that way, and they've really pushed the envelope in making sure that they're utilizing our best of breed capabilities.
So Scott, and not even just with Uplift, but what are some of the tools in your toolbox to get people on your planes again?
Yeah, so we've kind of shared with the market, because the biggest impacts have come in international and business travel, and because Allegiant is 100% domestic and 100% focused on leisure, we have been able to take things, the same that all people are doing, like greater flexibility, change fees, for now are a thing in the past, and something like Uplift is just an extension, as Chris said, of being able to afford that flexibility. The things that we did were looked at the data. I'll give you a few just juicy ones, right? We were adept at flying people from super small areas, think the upper West, down to Las Vegas, down to Los Angeles. During the pandemic, it was a good reminder that those flights went both ways, and we saw tons of people coming from big markets like Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, and wanting to go up to visit Yellowstone National Park, other great outdoors areas. And so, it was kind of taking what we had to work with, and then, using the data to find it. One quick thing I wanted to add, I heard Rob asking about it incessantly, and I think it was great that he did. Whether it was the initial engagement with Uplift and or the ongoing evolution of their product, what makes them different from just about any technology player that I've ever dealt with is it's easy to say yes, because so many times you see something that's perfect, it wows you, and as soon as you're ready to buy, the next trip you need to make is to your doctor to make sure that you're going to be old enough to see it by the time it gets implemented. When it came to Uplift, it literally was less than 4 weeks, and that was in elapsed time, including the time it took to get on the development log, to get things worked through. So they make it very easy to say yes and try it. And that continues on as we together come up with ideas of ways to better merchandise it, to extend product evolution the way that Chris was talking about. And I can't stress enough that a partner that can move fast and or has clean technology that's easy to code to makes all the difference in the world.
So, and I'll ask another question to both of you. You're talking, in a way, some good changes that have come out of COVID. I mean, we're in hard times, but Chris, can you, what good do you see coming out of this? Maybe some technology changes. I mean, what can you give a positive light of things we're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes that we've made in response to the marketplace. I mean, everybody understands that, if people have either, lost their jobs or been furloughed or things of that nature, they're going to have less disposable income. So we've done a number of things in terms of, relooking at our credit policy, relooking at, how we can improve more customers. One of the things that is absolutely, important to Uplift is, we don't charge late fees if a customer defaults. We work very hard because we see ourselves as a brand extension of Allegiant, right? So we have to take care of that customer and make sure that we're getting them back on track and getting them into a payment vehicle that fits for them. But I think, we've extended our marketing terms. We have some customers that have 24-month loans as opposed to just a 12-month loan or a 6-month loan. So we've really extended those out. In addition, we've also created 0 down and 0% financing options, so the customers, can, really limit what they're doing, get something locked into place, and then, begin to get that paid down and paid off. But it really has forced us to, and I know everybody on the call, had this, when the refunds, kind of started coming back through, and you had to, start issuing those back, you really had to, streamline your refund system and make sure that it's working. But I mean, with a customer-centric approach that we have and working closely with our partners like Allegiant, it really has paid off benefits.
So thank you, Chris, and thank you, Scott. I think we're being warned by Wendy, our chairperson, that we've reached the end of our time. So I really appreciate it, guys. And I appreciate Uplift for sponsoring our Lions Den. And we're about to find out who won, announced by your colleague, Chris, Rob. So Rob from Uplift is going to tell us. So thank you, guys. You can shut off your cameras. Over to you, Wendy. We can, as we launch the, or as we announce the winner, I'll let the audience vote. So again, audience, this is just for most interesting, entertaining pitch. So this is not about who you think was the best product. This is just on entertaining. The judges are deciding on who they thought was the most appropriate product for these COVID times. So just let us know who did you enjoy most seeing? Who did you think was the most interesting pitch? So close to half of you have voted, but come on, guys, a few more votes, and then we will close it off. So, so on the count of 3, we'll close that. So Wendy, over to you. The audience, good spread, but Rebound Travel was voted as the most entertaining. So congratulations to you, Rebound Travel. And
Okay.
Over to you, Wendy.
Yep, well done, everybody. Thank you for that. Thank you to Chris and Uplift and Allegiant. That was a great interview. And Rob, I'm going to have you come on, and if you'd like to turn your camera on and just kind of give the judges' opinion and a little bit of history why you chose that particular product. Thanks, Rob. Rob, you're on mute.
Rob, you're on mute. We got to unmute you, Rob. So let's find your mute here. Here you go. Send unmute request. There you go, Rob. So we're unmuting you. We can't hear you, Rob. I believe you can hear us. We can see you, but not hear you. Uh-oh. Rob, we tested you before. So go to control. There you go. You're good.
Okay, sorry. Well, I just simply wanted to say thanks, first of all, to everybody at Airline Information. We love working with you. You've been a great partner over the years. I want to say thanks to Wendy for being a great partner, because we work super closely with UATP as well. So thanks to everybody in both of your organizations. It was really great to meet the judges, and at the same time, it was even more impressive to meet the 3 organizations that presented today. And so, trust me, we had a very difficult time deciding. And as you saw on the internal poll, folks were pretty close. And at the end of the day, we decided to go with Rebound Travel. So they are the winner of this Lions Den. So,
well, so congratulations to Rebound Travel, and I'll plug you, Rob. Congratulations to Rob. So if everyone looks at the screen behind here, this was launched yesterday on carnival.com. So congratulations. It's not normal that you see that type of real estate on a home page of a major travel brand about payments. So congratulations. So this was my idea, not Rob's. This is all me, but well, kudos to you, Rob. Good to see you.
Well, Chris, I couldn't contain my excitement to announce the winner, and trust me, I mean, what all 3 companies are doing are super amazing. But I will, thank you for giving me the option here to plug ourselves a bit. We've launched a $0 down and an interest-free product that is being paid for by Carnival. And literally we launched it yesterday, and we've seen between 3 and 4 times higher bookings and people choosing this option. So I would just encourage all of our amazing airline partners that are here on the call to think about whether this might be a good option for extending value to your customers as we focus more and more on leisure guests. As you know, Chris was just discussing with Allegiant, we think this is a pretty exciting product for the marketplace. So thank you for letting me on a bit there.
Oh, no problem. We've definitely seen a big interest in installments during COVID. I mean, it's one of the payment orchestration, installments, and sort of fixing your back-end payment processes seem to be the hot topic. So you're definitely timely with what we're seeing in COVID. So congratulations on your implementation yesterday. Thank you for announcing the winner.